Never thought I'd be glad to sail here with a smuggler.
Fanny. If anyone asks, you never met me. Look, I'll no thank you for showing basic decency, but you saved my life. That counts for something. To me, anyway. I don't push her luck. Not all of them, but it's not a great way to make friends. Give paradisans a chance. That's why they came here in the first place. Try not to get killed. Nah, I'm kidding. Just don't go around acting like you own the place, alright? Hope we don't run into each other, so take care of yourself.
Suppose this is where I leave you then. I owe you my life, envoy. I won't soon forget what you did. I don't know. It's all just sinking in. I hope the folks at the embassy know where to find a good, strong drink. You don't have to. Just go up the pier. I imagine they've sent someone official-like to take you there.
Must be nice, eh?
Well, it's the Living Land's biggest port. People come from all over. Not all of them are Adir's friends.
Wonder why?
You'll be fine. After the fort, I figure you can survive anything. Same to you. You'll make the Emperor proud, I'm sure of it.
This is your final warning, Kai. One more, and I put a bullet in your leg.
These dogs. And here I thought we were getting along. You know, if you just tell me where the claviger is, I'd get out of your hair.
He's out on official business. That's all you need to know.
So he didn't tell you either, huh?
Hey! Turn around and sail back to wherever you came from. This dock is reserved for the Imperial Envoy. And she's late. Probably died at sea. Good riddance. Ugh, shit.
Nice.
Forgive me, Envoy. I meant nothing by it. A slip of the tongue. Can we start over? Name's Cynric, captain of the local militia. We're a scrappy bunch, but we know our way around Paradise. Unlike most Adirans who couldn't find their ass with both their hands. Oh, present company excluded. They told me you were godlike, but I didn't know what to expect. Your face, it's so...
You're doing great.
Forgive me, again. We're having a bit of an emergency. No doubt you've come for the Adiran ambassador, but he's gone, along with our claviger. Well, there's some kind of blight in the wilderness and rumors of plague. They went to investigate. Nature has a mind of its own in these parts. When the ecosystem changes, we ask ourselves how and why.
Leaderless and rudderless is the natural state of things in Paradise anyway. Keeps things interesting.
Well, he's the closest thing we have to a local authority. Part keeper of the keys, part bald fist.
Paradise's mayor, more or less. Most people out here aren't fond of established hierarchies and titles. So, we made up some new ones.
I'm sorry, Envoy, but no one's here to receive it.
Nonsense. There's a small army of pickpockets, smugglers, and scoundrels between those walls who'd be happy to take it off your hands.
Just ignore him.
Where did you say they went? Because I've got an idea.
They traveled northwest to the Strangle Route, past the old Pargroon Wall.
You need to find the ambassador, and I need to find the claviger. How's about we partner up? The Rowatine Navy didn't teach me fancy words, but I did learn how to count.
Kai, before you go, please keep in mind that the envoy is a respected member of the court. Make sure she comes back alive, or the Steel Garrote will have my head.
Better yours than mine.
The Steel Garrote are here as guests, helping Adirans like yourself keep the peace. Or so they say.
That's certainly what they'd like you to believe. Sounds like their reputation back home in Adir isn't any better than it is here.
You tell me, envoy. The Adirans came to our shores with their soldiers, their bureaucrats, and their cult of murderers. Asking a lot of nosy questions is a good way to end up with a knife in your back. They're an order of religious cutthroats, sharpening their blades for the glory of the burned queen. Oof, creepy bunch, too. Who needs enemies when you have friends like the Steel Garrote? Speaking of the Steel Garrote, fair warning, their leader, Inquisitor Ludwine, is eager to greet you. Or possibly interrogate you. Wait, you know the Inquisitor? Dare I ask how? Well, that must have been awful. I mean, considering everything that happened. I heard she's a monster, the personal handmaiden of the burned queen. But that's not all. They say she fell in battle in the Deadfire, and death spat her back out. Not if you value your life.
We'll have time to worry about Ludwine later. First, we've got to find your ambassador and my claviger. I'll bet you're glad to be on dry land after that voyage. Come on, let's get you some fresh air. Between tensions in the city and threats outside, the militia's in over their heads. Fargrunen left these beacons all over the island. They're good for finding your way around.
The city's getting crowded. Pretty soon the Adurans will outnumber us 3 to 1.
Why doesn't the Claviger put a stop to it?
Why do you think, dimwit? He's nice and cozy in the ambassador's pocket. That's enough for now. We got a listener.
Don't get too used to the comforts of Paradise.
Greetings, friend. You look like you could use a fine weapon or a sturdy shield. Not to worry, Volter is here. I suggest you take a look at my wares before you speak to Daggerda. Who knows what mood she's in today? From legitimate sources, clearly. From traders and adventurers, mostly. And a few used pieces from people down on their luck. Apologies, friend. People see me selling weapons on the harbor and call my morals into question. I assure you, all of my wares have been vetted for quality and polished thoroughly to remove any unwanted stains. Well, I believe my wares speak for themselves. Figuratively, I mean.
The living lands are a dangerous place. Heading out to the wilds, make sure you have everything you need. You don't want to...
Kai, I told you not to show your face around here again.
Come on. You're not still mad about that hunting knife, are you?
All right, no. You're clear. But you better pay up front this time.
I knew you'd come around. You miss me.
I'll let you think that. I don't mind him. What are you interested in? Yeah, some of the oldest in Paradise. He's a headache, but that's because you want him to come back alive.
So you do care.
I lied to the Garrote for you. Do I have to spell it out? What harm could some new armor do? Look good and stay alive.
Welcome to Dawnshore, traveler. My name is Daggerda. You seem like you could use a nice potion or a bite to eat. And I promise a safe and pleasant transaction, despite whatever Volter told you. Ha! I'm sure he did. He'd rather chase off my customers than admit he was wrong. To be honest, stranger, I'm not inclined to go into it. He knows what he did, and let's leave it at that. Please, how hard is it to answer a question?
I don't trifle with souls, ma'am.
They're tearing my home apart. Never mind. I can't believe how rude everyone is around here. It wouldn't kill them to think about it, at least. How hard could it be to find a watcher? How did you... Actually, maybe I should talk to you instead. I'm clearly under some kind of curse. A band of Zorips invaded my house. What am I gonna do? Why did they do anything? They've probably eaten all my food and destroyed my supplies. I don't know what else. First, my ship gets attacked by pirates. Then none of my plants will take. Now this happens? And they won't let me into Paradise to sort it out? The militia. They're scared of some plague. At least that's what they say. I wonder if it's really the Adirans. Keep us out and themselves in. I should never have come here.
Come here for a better life and find a worse one. Wish I hadn't heard that before.
I wanted to grow a little food, save some skates. They never thrived, that's all. Clearly, I have bigger things to worry about. Gods, is it in the crops? As if things couldn't get any worse. It's hard to put it into words. I just feel like I should be here. I'd heard it was dangerous, but the Glenfathan wilds were dangerous. I thought I was prepared. I had no idea what I was in for. Thank the gods. I wasn't sure how many more pitying looks I could stand. Then take my house key. It's northwest of here. That cabin on the cliff all by itself. Gods know I can't go back. And there's nothing to steal either. The Zorips saw to that. Come back when you've dealt with them. And make sure you get their leader, too. I'm sorry, but I don't think they'll go quietly. You'll have to kill them. Never thought I'd miss that dingy little place.
I already told her I don't want to be involved.
You say the militia have closed Paradise to newcomers, so where should I go?
Well, there's always the shantytown. Well, you know.
Yeah. I haven't heard the best things about that place. Is there nowhere else?
First get the leaves, and his letters won't turn up. Que larde! I'd heard a godlike had come to Paradise.
Oh, hey, Sansa. Comes on a little strong, that's all. He doesn't bite.
But to meet you, what an honor. Who is your patron? Were you drawn to this place? Ho ho! So you are familiar with my work. It's a pleasure to meet one as cultured as you. It was arduous work, but I couldn't have done it without help. Speaking of which, listen, you haven't been to the wilds east of the city, have you? I assume that's a no? Then have you seen a cartographer in the area? A human, about my height. He must have gone farther than I thought. His name is Girmund. He's my assistant, and I'm worried about him. I sent him to map the eastern wilds. I knew it would be perilous, but it's been a long time since he's written, even for him. Cartography is not for the slight. It requires a certain initiative.
You know how many so-called adventurers I've saved out there?
It's an intrepid occupation.
3 this month.
As I said, if you find him and bring me his map, I'll be glad to pay you for it. I may even have more work for you. When he last wrote, he was mapping the eastern ruins. Take the letter. It might help. If you find him, bring his work to my shop in Paradise Town. You're welcome anytime. I have quite the assortment of curios. Maybe you'll even buy one of my maps.
Well, that's our marching orders then.
Oh, it's a long walk down here from Northern Paradise. Whew.
Build another palisade just like the last. When this one falls, what'll you adherents do then?
Die alongside you, you fall, we fall. It's that sort of thing.
So, how long do you think it'll be before...
If the stone wall up the road didn't last, your point realized. You're never gonna realize. And
No, I don't think so. It's only been a few years. They'll come around eventually, I'm sure of it. They have
Watch out once you get past the palisades. The Strangerroot is apparently hostile to life, as the scholars say. Wait a moment. Oh, Thurth, eat my soul. You're the envoy. Sorry, didn't mean to be so informal. They said the Emperor sent one of his best and brightest, and Aethys knows we need the help.
Your reputation precedes you.
I hope your voyage here was smooth as good butter. I know maybe too much about rough seas, what with serving in the galleys. If you're going to be sick, I'd recommend that patch of grass downwind. Sorry for the glib tongue. I've tried to be more proper before. Didn't work. I'm no good at niceties, including abiding by most rules. The law and I aren't exactly the best of friends, no. Although, I think that's Adia's problem. I was mostly just stealing food. If you're born to the wrong social class, Adia makes climbing the ranks rather difficult. Anyway, that's all in the past. Learned? No, absolutely not. What I've learned is you can either obey the rules or die. I got caught for my many small, petty crimes and spent about 6 years on the prison galleys. Then, a year ago, an Adheran official came to the jails and told us we could serve the Empire for a shortened sentence or rot. You can guess which I chose. Oh, you're a funny one, envoy. Free. Am I free after this? And they say the Adheran elite have no sense of humor. All in all, it's a pretty sweet deal. 3 square meals, bed of my own, maybe even a chance to retire as a clerk. Wouldn't mind being bored stupid for a few years. Better than the alternative. But first, even more palisades. He and the Clavager passed through not long ago. I didn't much like it, but they refused an escort. Less competent than he seems. You think with all the time the ambassador spends working, he'd have more done. No, I hear he's about a sneeze away from swallowing the muck he's paddling in. Poor man. Hot-tempered bastard. I think the ambassador's scared of him, but won't do a thing because the Clavager keeps the wheels turning. Good at its job, though. Purportedly. Bad about his confections. Sweet tooth like a hummingbird's. He and the ambassador make a good pair, honestly. The ambassador talks a lot. The Clavager gets the administrative day-to-day done. Honestly, I'm more scared of her than Wodica. At least I understand why the Burned Queen is so pissed. Ludwig runs the Steel Garrote, Wodica's order of paladins. The only thing they care about is their Burned Queen. There's honor among thieves, Envoy. But zealots, they'll raise the world for their god. About Adir, that same hungry empire that is looking to gobble up the living lands. The one that sends people out to maybe die for its ambitions. Kind of you to ask, Envoy. But truth is, not really. Adir's fair and good to the people it thinks deserve compassion. But break its trust, and well, Adir will make you crawl to retrieve the pieces. You can tell it's a place that worships Wodica. Actually, I miss the pies. The crust's all wrong here. Just take a look down the road, and you'll see the last palisades we tried to hold. And the ones before them. We're trying our best to keep the wilds at bay here, Envoy. The Strangleroot is hungry. Every day, it gets closer. Every day, weirder creatures crawl out from its foliage. Be careful if you're headed out there. Anyway. Listen, Envoy. I'm here to build defenses against the land. You want geography lessons? Go ask a cartographer. I do know a few things, though. So, ask. No, none. It's all untamed wilderness and feral heathens. I'm joking. Of course there are. There's Fjord, which is run by animancers. Thirdborn, where all the ruffians dwell. And Solus Keep, which has the Pargrunin, who don't like anybody. And happily, too. Sounds like they've got a whole colony of inventors and researchers there. If I want a servant of the Adiran Empire, I might say it sounds fascinating. Groundbreaking, even. I know animancy is considered blasphemous and dangerous, but Fjord supplies most of the produce we eat here in Paradise. They must be doing something right. Miscreants and layabouts and all those great things. The kind of people who can make a life out of impossibly bad situations. Settlements just as rough and tumble. Wouldn't mind having a drink with the locals, to be honest. They sound like they've got stories. You know what I mean? Heard they're under siege right now, though, by those dream thralls. Wouldn't want to be them, between the desert weather and that. I mean, the Pargrunin dwarves won't talk to anybody. They stay inside Solus Keep and just never come out. Once again, I'm no cartographer. But you know what they say about continents with small acreage? They've got big personalities. Little bit of everything here. Poison swamps, deserts, snow-covered mountains, volcanoes, acid seas. Because why not? A cartographer might be able to tell you more. I hear there's one in town. That it lives up to its name. Wilder place than Adir, which has been stomped into civility. The living land scares our empire, I think. Otherwise, it wouldn't be sending its most expendable folk here. Present company excluded, of course. I think the Living Lands won't want to be leashed by the Empire, though. But that's my opinion. I've been here a while. I don't know. I mean, I know some people in Adir think of godlike as blessed by the gods. What with you lot having a divine resemblance and all. Although, I guess some folk think godlike are cursed. Depends on what sort you are. Frankly, I don't know if I've seen your particular kind before. Still, I think there are stranger things than you in the Living Lands, Envoy. No offense, but more importantly... Ask them then. You're a nice distraction, Envoy. Balgrunin beer is surprisingly terrible. Always trust in a Mauen to know where the best seafood is. Pay attention when the locals tell you something. And watch out for poets. Something's odd about them.
You know, for most people, getting sent to the Living Lands is a punishment. But, according to Cynric, you're the personal envoy of the Emperor of Adir himself. Quite a position. I should ask you for some good campfire stories later. I'd be lying if I said that didn't tempt me all the more. But, I'll take you at your word. Talk of the plague inland has folk nervous enough as it is. Is that why the Emperor sent his personal mystic to the Living Lands? Oh, that almost does sound like a punishment. I don't know how you investigate a so-called plague of the soul, so better you than me. Being a godlike, I don't suppose your patron deity gives you any unique insights into matters of the soul, do they? I thought every godlike knew their god. That's one of the stranger things I've heard. And out here, that's saying something. Sorry, these are unusual times. I haven't met anyone who's really seen the Dream Scourge yet, but that hasn't stopped people from worrying about the rumors. Refugees are flooding in from outlying regions. The guards are restricting access to the city. And people are making offerings to the gods for everything from hangovers to indigestion, just in case. Not much. It's hard to separate fact from rumor. I've heard it changes people, makes them confused, disoriented, and eventually violent. No one seems to know exactly how it starts. And here I was hoping for good news. Unfortunately, the presence of so many Adiran troops and the rumored exploits of the Steel Garrote paladins supporting them is only making a tense situation worse. I think that's why the Clavenger accompanied your ambassador. I was in rough shape when I came to Paradise a few years back. Clavenger Amond helped me get settled here. If he's gotten into trouble, the least I can do is help him out of it. Especially if he's following up on rumors of the Dream Scourge. But what about you? What's your stake in things? Besides your orders, of course. Just be careful where you say that. That's the kind of talk that may get people thinking you've got the dream scourge. I'll let you get some rest, but thanks for talking. It's good to be part of a squad again, even if it's just for a while. It's the gateway to the Living Lands, a scenic port city that's as beautiful and dangerous as the wilds around it. Most visitors enjoy some mariner's porridge at the Ballarrock, a back alley shakedown, and then the sudden return of that porridge out of one end or the other. Then, if they've got any sense, they turn around and take their chances back where they came from, with authentic tales of their adventures in the Living Lands. Don't get me wrong, it's a great city. In part because it's great at winnowing out people who have no business being here. The Living Lands means a hard-won second chance for the people who settle here. But first, you've got to survive it. And the island gives no quarter. For a lot of people, the Living Lands is a last resort. They come fleeing war, debt, famine, the law. Take your pick. For others, it's freedom. To seek glory, to redefine yourself, to live in a way you can't, maybe even on pain of death wherever you come from. Don't get me wrong, there are perfectly lovely people here, but most of us who stick around are a little odd. Used to be. If you could last out here, you could count on being left alone. Dangers in the wilds is nothing new out here, but something about the Dream Scourge is. And if that weren't enough, a lot of people aren't too keen on Adir's presence and affiliations out here. Ilgard's new embassy and his alliance with the Steel Garrote smell like the authority and order that a lot of people came here to leave behind. But I don't mean to put that on you. I imagine you're tired of having to answer for every Adiran who sneezes into somebody's stew. They say people afflicted with it have strange, vivid dreams and start confusing them with reality. What starts as a light daze becomes severe disorientation and eventually a bent towards chaotic violence. And then, fungal growths take over your body. So Dream Scourge. No, Dream Scourge is different. It spreads all over. Still, if you see any new mushrooms sprouting up anywhere unexpected, let me know. Until then, look on the bright side. The Living Lands is filled with people and things that are likelier to kill you first. Should I break out the booze? That must have been 6 years ago now. I guess I was drifting, looking for a change. A settlement called Thirdborn. It's a rugged little place, lots of Rowatayan expatriates. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, we were talking about something else, yeah? I joined up with the Rowatayan Navy as soon as I was old enough. I was part of our campaign to establish a foothold in the Deadfire Archipelago. Part of a long-term effort to reclaim our ancestral homeland and feed Rawatai from Deadfire's fertile soil. I believed in that mission. Additionally, we were helping Deadfire, bringing organization to the pirate-ridden archipelago and civilization to our distant Wana cousins. I was young and naive, and maybe that's no excuse. The Wana didn't want us there. We spent almost as much time fighting the tribes as we did pirates and Wilder. And it was hard to see how any of our fighting and dying was feeding people back home. I'd always heard that war was supposed to temper us, strengthen us, but I didn't see that either. Some fell apart. Some bought into the cruelty that our continued presence required. Others didn't buy into it, but went along with it anyway. And that bothered me more somehow. I deserted. And I bounced between different mercenary companies for almost 10 years. Hey, not all of us catch on so quick. Besides, there were only so many options for a Rowatayan deserter with no training and anything else. As a mercenary, I figured I could at least choose my battles and my crew. He figured it out faster than I did. It was more of the same. The only comfort was being part of a squad. By the time I came to the Living Lands, I'd seen enough, had enough. Yeah. Though, in a lot of ways, it feels like I didn't really start living until I got here. Look, if I can give you some hard-won advice, stay on your toes. You're in a difficult position. Whatever your role asks of you, make sure it's something you're willing to give. Because you're the one who has to live with the consequences. Hey, advice is easy. The hard part's all you. What gave it away? My finely pointed teeth, or the striking blue of my scales? I usually hear that from someone who's enjoyed the height or position to fully appreciate it, but I'll never turn down a compliment. As rare as we are in many parts of the world, it's nice to be appreciated as something other than a magnificent bruiser. Fair enough. My people are known to roam. Rowatai's hardly a hospitable environment. Many of us end up settling elsewhere or making a living on the go. That's where you get the popular image of the Amawa bodyguard or mercenary. Then you must have come during our sunny season. Lashed by storms and battered by waves. We call it the rough country. And old trenchers say it's made us who we are. We do a lot of digging for irrigation, drainage, warfare, the occasional village tournament. Anyone from Rawatai has spent enough time in some kind of hole in the ground to be on a first-name basis with the worms. So, trenchers. Those of us who leave are scramble roots, hardy weeds that can survive just about anywhere. Then it won't surprise you that many leave. And not just because of the hardships. The land can't support everyone. Not that we don't do our damnedest to beat it into shape. Our coral masons have built living harbors and fortifications along the coast to protect our ships and shelter our cities. For all our shortage of fertile soil, Rowatai's land is abundant in saltpeter, copper, iron, most of the other materials you need to outfit your military with weapons and cannons. We value struggling and striving together. It helped us survive and build one of the most powerful navies in Aora. It's been hard-won across a variety of conquests, cooperatives, and trading colonies. Some of the traditionalists worry that prosperity is making us as complacent and soft-handed as our rivals. Same as traditionalists everywhere. Me, I prefer the simplicity of the Living Lands. Kill the thing that's trying to kill you, and hope it has some edible meat on it. Sure. What's on your mind? Enjoy the ocean breeze while we're here. After your voyage, it must be nice to spend the night on dry land. Personally, I've always found the rocking of a ship to be soothing. As long as I've got my feet facing the bow, that is. I haven't seen this much excitement in a while. Perhaps I've got you to thank for bringing it with you, Envoy. That lighthouse has been under repair since Adiran ships began filling the harbor. If this can hold me, you'll be fine. Just don't look down. Looks like that broke off of something. Wonder where it goes. They weren't much of an artist, but I think that's upstream by the Pargroon Wall. Well, nothing ventured, envoy.